Welcome back to Shadowverse. I'm Andrew, and in this video, I'm going to open this booster box of the newly released Shadowverse Evolve physical trading card game in Japanese. I do have translations nearby, so I'll be looking them up and explaining most of the cards as I go. If you missed my starter deck opening, I've got another video where I open all 6 of the starter decks: Forestcraft, Swordcraft, Runecraft, Dragoncraft, Nightmare, and Havencraft. So hopefully I'll be getting some gameplay videos in soon, battling those decks against each other. I'm not sure yet if I want to use any upgrades from the booster box or just play them as they are, or maybe play them as they are and then maybe do some follow-ups with upgrades. We'll have to see if anything in here is worth the extra coverage. So with that out of the way, let's just open up and see what kind of surprises. So I don't even know how many packs we get. Take a look, I guess, at the back. So we have some of the art. I'm just going to say, I don't think these are deleters. It's just, I guess, some of the art they selected that they thought was a good representation of the game. We got one guy in the front and 6 ladies on the back. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. This folds out, looks like. I don't think the box can be constructed unless I tear this off. Let's just destroy my box here. Pop these tabs. And make a little display out of it. But I'm just going to take out the packs anyway, so let's see. We got 8. And then probably another 8 there. 16 packs. Let's get started. I also don't know how many cards there are per pack or what the rarity distribution is. I have my own guess at what the rarities are called: bronze, silver, and gold rares, and then legendary, but I don't even know. So first up, we have a bronze rare. That's what I'm going to call it. For me, this is going to take forever because every card I open, I'm going to have to look through my full printed out spoiler list here and find it. For you, no time will pass at all. So here we have Crafty Warlock from Runecraft. It says evolve for 1, and last words, which I assume is when it dies, you will summon a magic sediment. A magic sediment is one of the tokens that we did not see in the starter decks. It has stack ability, emotes with stack interplay with 1 stack counter attached, and have the following effects. When this card leaves play, detach a stack counter from it instead. While it has 0 stack counters, destroy it. But during your main phase, you can act it and choose another allied amulet with stack and move this card's stacks to it. So Magic Sediment is basically going to be a holder for 1 stack, which you can give to one of your other amulets in order to use its effects more powerfully, I suppose. And this does evolve for 1, but we don't know into what. Actually, it evolves for 1 into a 3/3 that has the last words to make a Magic Sediment and then add another stack to something with stack. Next up is the Dragoncraft spell. A quick spell, choose an enemy follower, deal 2 damage to it. If Overflow is active for you, deal 4 instead. Overflow meaning you've got at least 7 play points, so basically turn 7. This is the Rabbit Necromancer, so you can see her ghost rabbits flying around here, and she says last words, deal 2 damage to all leaders. This is the Blessed Fairy Dancer in Forestcraft. Fanfare, give all other allied fairies +1/+1. This is the Soul Conversion spell. Choose an allied follower, destroy it, and draw 2 cards as a quick spell. And here we have our first gold rare in foil. And this is Gilgamesh, 7 cost for a 6/6 with Storm, meaning he can attack right away. Then we've got another gold rare. It's a Havencraft Evolution. This is the Archpriestess Lelia evolved. So the basic form is a 0/6 that says evolve for 1, and while she's in play, allied followers deal damage equal to their defense instead of their attack. And then this is the evolve form. And in addition to that, you will also gain +2 defense at the end of your turn. Every turn, presumably. And then finally we have a token. So this is actually the same thick cardboard we saw in the starter decks. And this is just the Holy Falcon token with Storm. Alright, pack number 2. We have the Spectre. So a 2/1 in Nightmare. Has the Bane ability, which I believe, if I recall correctly, means if it hits an enemy follower, it will kill it. And it also has Fanfare, subtract 2 from your leader's defense to gain Rush. And also put the top card of your deck into your graveyard. I believe this was in one of the starter decks, the Nightmare. This is Hallowed Dogma spell. Quick, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal an amulet and add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. Angelic Barrage, quick spell, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. Saw that in the starters. Harnessed Glass, interesting title, especially for a 2/3 follower here. It says Fanfare, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Nice filtering effect. Sage Commander says Fanfare, give all other allied followers +1/+1. Then we've got a gold rare in Forestcraft. I like this artwork quite a bit. This is a Homecoming spell. Choose an enemy follower. That player puts it on top of or bottom of their deck. Combo 5, choose all enemy followers instead. It's extremely powerful. Combo 5 meaning if this is the 5th or more card you've played this turn. So that's a big hurdle to jump through, but for a big payoff, take out 1 enemy creature or all of them. And we have another bronze rare at the end. And this is the evolved form of the Crafty Warlock that we looked at earlier. So just grabbing him, we've got Crafty Warlock and the evolution. And then the token, which is the guard form golem we saw in the starter deck, just a 2/3 with ward. So we had 1 pack with 1 foil and 1 pack with 2 so far. I don't know if there are necessarily alternate foils of all the cards, or if every card can be a foil, or if some cards are always foil. This is the Swordcraft Bronze Rare Veteran Lancer with ward. The Wardrobe Raider, very interesting thing to raid, and she just evolves for 0. Her evolved form actually is noted in the translation document as having unclear wording, still ambiguous, but it says when you evolve it, put a follower into the graveyard, choose an enemy follower, and destroy it. So maybe you have to sacrifice one of your own followers to destroy an enemy one when it evolves, and it evolves into a 3/3. So it's basically you can play this as a 3/3, but you have to use an evolution slot, which are limited in deck construction, in order to gain access to her ability. This is the Lightning Shooter. Fanfare, choose an enemy follower, deal 2 damage to it, but Spell Chain 5, deal 4 instead. Spell Chain 10, deal 2 to that enemy's leader. And Spell Chain is an effect that triggers or powers up with the more spells you have in your graveyard. So if you have at least 5, she'll deal 4 damage to the follower instead of 2, and if you have at least 10 spells in your graveyard, she will also deal 2 damage to your opponent directly. And then our first Dragoncraft card today, I believe, is the Dragonoot Scholar. She has Intimidate, which I actually don't think I've read an explanation for yet, and Strike, draw a card, discard a card from your hand. So whenever she hits, you get to draw and discard. Subtract 1 from damage taken by this follower. So any damage she takes 1 less. Very sturdy defender there. And then a gold rare for Swordcraft. Got a Pirate. This is a spell, Alwida's Command. Summon a Viking, a Steel-clad Knight, and a Knight. So the Knights are 1/1s, the Steel-clad Knights are 2/2s, and we saw both of those in the starter decks opening. We did not see Vikings, however, which are 2/2s, and they have Storm. So this spell will give you 1 of each of those 3 tokens. And another Swordcraft gold rare here. This is Shadowed Assassin Evolved. So the basic Shadowed Assassin is a 4/4. It says evolve for 2. And Fanfare, choose an enemy follower and act it. And here this evolution says, when you evolve, choose an enemy follower in the act state and destroy it. So a little bit of Deadly Assassin vibes here. And then a token. This is a Mimi token from Nightmare. And interestingly enough, this is actually a spell token. Don't know what that means, but it says choose an enemy follower and deal 2 damage to it. Alright, so we're still looking for a legendary or something fancy and surprising. Again, I have looked in a passive way kind of at the card list, but I don't know what kind of fanciness or special rarities, if any, they have in the set. This is Luminous Knight. Choose a 3/1 Fanfare, choose another allied follower, give it +1 attack. Last words, choose an allied follower, give it, I guess, +1 attack, which actually cut off on my printout. But yeah, it looks like it says 1 in both spots there. So when she comes into play or dies, give an ally +1. Ivory Dragon, 1 for a 1/1, evolves for 0, and it evolves into a 2/2 that when it evolves, if Overflow is active for you, draw a card. And Overflow, again, means you have 7 play points, so later in the game you can potentially draw a card. The Novice Trooper just has Storm, 3 for a 3/3 with Storm, so she can attack right away. And this certainly looks fancy. It's got new letters, SL. I don't know what SL is supposed to be. Super Legendary, perhaps? So it seems like this card is listed as an LG, which I've been interpreting as legendary, but this version of this card says SL. So I think this might be a super alternate version of this card, which is called Arch Summoner Erasmus, 7 for a 6/8. Fanfare, Earthright. Choose an enemy follower, deal 6 to it, deal 2 to its leader. During your main phase, you can act this and Earthright to choose an enemy follower, deal 6 to it, and 2 to its leader. Unfortunately, I don't know what Earthright means, but I'll certainly have to find that out because this looks like a sweet card. I would say this guy looks like Merlin, but there's actually a different card in the set, in RuneCraft even, called Merlin, and it's a lady, so somebody might have got mixed up at the naming department over at Shadowverse, but certainly a cool card. I love the rainbow effect here. The foiling is really nice on that one. And there's an interesting black shadow around the edge of the card. But I'll definitely, without knowing much in terms of prices or rarity, I'll definitely consider this a win. It's a cool card to get out of the box. Next up is Nature's Guidance, a forest craft spell. Choose an allied card in play, return it to your hand, and draw a card. Unfortunately, it is not quick, so I'd love to be able to play this at instant speed and save something from a potential death. But I still do like 2-for-1s, and this definitely seems like it will be able to trigger the combo ability that Forest Craft seems to be wanting to pull off. So you can play this as one of your cards for the turn, return something cheap, play it again, and that's already 2 combo cards to help you hit some combo thresholds. And then here we have a gold rare in a more subtle foil. And this is a Dragoncraft card called Genesis Dragon. It just has Storm, 9 for a 10/12 that can attack immediately. Then we have this Evolved Goblin. I think we saw that in the starter set. This is just an evolution of a basic neutral card. And then a Dragon Token, which is a 5/5 with no abilities. So if I see too many repeats, we'll definitely skip, although there are a good number of cards in the set, it seems like, so might not be too many repeats. And this one here is Teachings of Creation. It's a spell. Sorry, not a spell. This is an amulet, and it has stack, and it has Fanfare, draw a card. So it's just a 1 cost, bring it out, draw a card, it replaces itself immediately, and then you can move its counter to one of your other amulets later on. This is the Swordcraft Navy Lieutenant. Fanfare, choose another allied follower, and give it Direct Attack. Direct Attack, I believe, being an ability that lets the follower attack any enemy follower it chooses, even if that follower is not acted, or honestly, I still have to learn the rules, but gives them powerful versatility in taking out enemy followers. This one is in the Forestcraft starter, but this is Okami. Whenever another allied follower comes into play, gain +1/+1, so it will grow. This is the neutral Trail of Light spell. When this card is discarded from your hand, draw a card, or you can just play it and draw a card. Gemcraft Commander says Fanfare, search your deck for a Swordcraft follower and add it to your hand. It seems very strong. Ooh, a foily gold rare 12 cost spell. I like where this is going. I love hard to play cards with big effects. Let's see, it says when you would play this spell, banish 10 spells from your graveyard, change its cost to 7, and then take an extra turn after this one. So that is up my alley for sure. Although you do have to give up those spells from your graveyard, so your spell chain is going to dwindle from that. This is an Evolved Goblin Mount Demon. So the basic Goblin Mount Demon is a 6/6, so 6/6 for 5. So here you can see it evolves into a 7/7 at the cost of 0 to evolve. The basic form also has Ward and Fanfare, deal 2 damage to all other allied followers. And this one just has Ward, so you don't get that Fanfare ability, you don't get any extra abilities. You keep the Ward, you just get +1/+1 at the cost of a card in your evolution stack. And then finally we have a token. This is another golem, but a strike form golem this time, which has Rush, meaning it can attack right away, but only enemy followers. I recognize her from the starters. She's the Healing Angel who evolves for 1, and Fanfare, add 1 to your leader's defense, and she evolves into a 3/5 that when it evolves, you gain 2 to your defense. This is the Sister Initiate. 3/2 for 2. Fanfare, if any allied amulets are in play, add 2 to your defense. The Fervid Soldier evolves for 2, and whenever another allied follower comes into play, gain +1 attack. And add her evolved form, she has that same ability, she just gets a little bit bigger from 2/2 up to 4/4. It's the Nightmare spell Death's Breath. Choose a follower that costs 8 play points or less from your graveyard, summon it, and give it ward. So I wonder if that is a downside ability, ward. Certainly some cards are meant to have ward and that they will then defend you. But I'm not sure how the mechanics work in that if you give something ward, it also becomes vulnerable to attacks more so, perhaps. I don't know if that ward is a bonus or a downside, but certainly getting to bring back something from the dead that costs 8 or less seems good, especially since this only costs 6. Serpent Wrath is a spell, says it's quick and choose an enemy follower, deal 5 damage to it. Overflow to draw a card, so if you have 7 or more play points. We have a Havencraft Gold Rare, which is actually the basic version of the one we already talked about. They let your followers deal damage based on their defense instead of their attack. So that's a nice pairing I got. And the Silverware Elven Princess Mage evolves. So the basic version is 3 for a 3/3, who evolves for 1. And when it evolves into this one, it becomes a 4/4, and you make 2 Fairy Wisp tokens into your EX area. I think this was in the starter decks. And then finally we have the token. So this is the Magic Sediment token. It basically stores counters for your other amulets in Runecraft. Next up is the Forest Craft Bronze Rare. We have the Woodkin Curse. Quick, choose an enemy follower. It does not deal damage this turn. Curate. Sounds like a spell, but it's actually a follower. 5/5, fanfare, add 5 to your leader's defense, and draw a card. Seems like a pretty strong effect, although it is expensive. On here we have a foil bronze rare mixed in, so this must be the alternate art version. We definitely saw her already, but here we have a foil version of her. This is the Bunny Necromancer, or whatever she was called, so it's cool. Got a reverse hollow or foil version of her. The Dragon Bond Mage, whenever you play a spell, attach a spell counter to this follower. During your main phase, detach 3 spell counters from it and choose an enemy follower and hit it for 5 damage. The Cleric Lancer says ward, and during your opponent's turn, this follower deals +4 damage. So during your turn, she's only a 1/5 for 4, but during your opponent's turn, they have to somehow get through your 4/5 for 4. This looks like a cool one. We got the Gold Rare Forestcraft Rhinoceroach. Evolves for 0. It has Rush and Fanfare, gain +X attack, which is equal to the number of other cards you played this turn, so we got a little bit of a combo going on. The Evolved Form says choose one of the following, gain Storm, or choose an enemy follower and deal damage equal to this follower's attack. I feel like even without evolving, this is a pretty strong card, and if you're willing to spend that evolve slot on it, definitely seems worthwhile. We have Goliath Evolved, which we saw in the starter, so it's a vanilla here, 5/6, but it evolves for 2 from Goliath, which is a 3-cost 3/4. And then the token, the Forest Bat, used by Nightmare. More of a vampire bat, really, but they're called Forest Bats in this translation. Alright, the Skeleton Fighter says fanfare, if Crimson is active for you, gain +1/+1. But I don't know what Crimson is yet. The Mana Elk is a 4/5. It says whenever an allied fairy follower attacks, choose an enemy leader or enemy follower and deal 1 damage to it. So some fairy combos. Another familiar face from the starter decks. This is just Snake Priestess, 1/3 for 1 with ward. Alchemical Lore is a runecraft spell. Deal 4 damage to all enemy followers. Seems strong for a silver rare. I will say the theme, I would say based on the rarity, is that the bronze rares are kind of weak. The silver rares are pretty solid and strong. And the gold rares and legendaries, like you really probably have to build around them. But the silver rares seem like they will be doing a lot of work. So let's see if that one meets that standard here. We have Ninja Master. Fanfare, search your deck for a ninja card and add it to your hand. Yeah, for sure. 4 for a 4/4 that searches up another card. A relevant card. Based on my reading of it, it can even find another copy of itself, another Ninja Master. So silver rares are thumbs up from me. This is the Nightmare Gold Rare Dire Bond Amulet. It says fanfare, deal 1 damage to your leader and draw a card. I like it already. During your main phase, you can pay 2 play points and act this card and put it into your graveyard to deal 1 damage to your leader and draw a card again. So 1 card, 2 damage, and 3 play points, but you can split it over multiple turns. Seems quite good. And then the Evolved Spectral Wizard. So the basic Spectral Wizard is 2 for a 2/2, says evolve for 2. Fanfare, look at the top card of your deck. You may reveal a spell and add it to your hand. And when it evolves here into Spectral Wizard Evolved, discard a spell from your hand to choose an enemy follower and deal 4 damage to it. So you can find a spell, and then you can convert a spell into damage when you evolve from a 2/2 into a 3/3. And then here we have a Ghost, which has Storm, meaning it can attack right away, but it dies at the end of the turn. I think that marks the halfway point in the packs. So here we're on pack number 9. It says Guardian Sun, an amulet. Fanfare, choose an allied follower, give it ward, and during your main phase, pay 2 play points and act this card and put it into your graveyard to choose an allied follower with ward and give it +2/+2. This is a basic fighter, just 2 for a 2/3 neutral card. Cruel Priestess. I think she was in the starter deck, or was it earlier in the box? But she says Fanfare, choose an amulet that costs 5 or less and put it into play from your discard pile. The Wormspire is an amulet that looks like a dude. While it's in play, all allied dragons have Rush. During your main phase, you can act this card and choose a follower and destroy it. That follower's player summons a dragon, which again is going to be a 5/5. And based on the translation, that is just a repeatable ability to turn things into 5/5s. Certainly seems strong, holding up that silver rare status. The Noble Fairy has ward, Fanfare, combo 3, choose an enemy follower and destroy it. Your opponent summons a fairy. Turning one of your opponents into a little guy. Royal Banner is an amulet. Whenever an allied Swordcraft follower comes into play, give it a +1/+1, and Fanfare, give +1/+1 to allied Swordcraft followers, so nobody misses out on the buff. And a Nightmare version of Wardrobe Raider, so we saw her earlier in the video, and this is the evolved form. And then finally a token, just a 1/1. Okay, I guess this is pack number 10. Starting out with a 0/2 in Dragoncraft. It's called Ace Dragon. It says Rush, Fanfare, choose another follower, and gain +X attack, where X is its attack. So never mind about the 0/2. It's going to be bigger than that. The Ninja Trainee is just 1 for a 2/2. Dragon Wings is a spell. Deal 2 damage to all followers, and if Overflow is active, deal 3 instead. It sounds familiar. It might have been in one of the starters, in the Dragoncraft starter. A foil version of this bronze rare here, 3 for a 3/3. I believe she was Storm, so we got another one of our bronze rare, like reverse foils. Elf Child May says when this card is returned to your hand from play, choose an enemy follower and deal 1 damage to it. Also, Fanfare, choose an enemy follower and deal 1 damage to it. So there's even a extra theme of combos of triggering from returning to your hand. So that is very interesting, and that damage can definitely add up, I imagine. And here we have the gold rare Shadowed Assassin. So we saw her evolution earlier. Yeah, so here we got another pairing of the Shadowed Assassin and Shadowed Assassin Evolved. And finally, the Maid Leader Evolved. So Maid Leader being a 1-cost 1/1. This says evolves for 2. And then this is the evolution. It is now a 2/2. And after it evolves, search your deck for a follower with Evolve and add it to your hand for an Evolve chain of followers. And then we've got the Holy Flame Tiger token from Havencraft, my favorite token art. Just a 4/4 with Rush. Pack number 11, Runecraft. This is the Runic Guardian. She has ward. Fanfare, choose one of the following: Earthright, gain +1/+2, or summon a magic sediment. So at some point I'm going to have to find out what Earthright does. Fairy Circle is a spell that says put 3 fairies into your EX area. We've seen very few repeats except for from the starter deck so far. This is Spartoy's Sergeant. 2 for a 2/3. Fanfare, put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your graveyard. I believe that again was from the starter deck. This is the Goblin Mount Demon, the basic form. We saw the evolution earlier. The Spectral Wizard, again we saw his evolution earlier. And then Mordecai the Duelist, our gold rare here for Nightmare. Last word, subtract 3 from your leader's defense and summon this follower. So whenever he dies, he comes back at the cost of 3 of your health. And then we have the evolution of the Fervid Soldier, whom we saw earlier, and a Steel-clad Knight token, 2/2. Next up, more new cards. The Sorcery Cache spell. Look at the it's a quick spell. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a spell and add it to your hand. Put a spell from among them into your graveyard, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So I think that was in the pre-con. Death Sentence is an amulet. Comes into play in the act state. Main phase, act this card and put it into your graveyard. Choose an enemy follower and destroy it. They're familiar face from the precons. The Undead King says fanfare. Choose up to 2 followers in your graveyard and add them to your hand. Nice 2 for 1 as a 6 for 6/6. Ooh, this looks special. Got another shadowed edges here because I'm reading that as legendary. First time I've seen one of these outside of the precons, which each have 3 of the same legendary. But this is Dark Dragonfire Fort, 4 for a 5/1, and she has Storm and Evolve 2. Her Evolve form has Storm and Aura, and she's a 7/3. Unfortunately, I don't know what Aura is. 4 for a 5/1 with Storm honestly is not that exciting to me. So I wonder what that 2-cost evolution gets you with Aura, how good that is. Could be out of place here, but I'm not too thrilled about the effect of this card so far. Here we have Harnessed Flame. I guess this is part of a cycle of some kind. And we saw Harnessed Glass before. This is a 3/2 for 3. It says during your main phase, you can pay 1 play point and put this follower and an allied Harnessed Glass into your graveyard. Search your deck for a Flame and Glass and summon it. Interesting. So it's definitely pairing with, this is the Harnessed Flame and the Harnessed Glass. They actually directly combo with each other. They're not just a thematic combination. So I wonder what does Flame and Glass do? Looks like Flame and Glass is a 10-cost follower with Storm. It has, when it strikes, deal 3 damage to all enemy followers, and if both Harnessed Flame and Harnessed Glass are in your graveyard, deal 7 damage to all enemy followers instead. So there you go, that's what you get for combining Flame and Glass. Oh, I saw a hint of something cool coming up. First up we have Sacred Plea, an amulet, main phase. Act this card and put it in your graveyard to draw a card. So you could just do 1 for 1, trade it in. Or during your main phase, pay 2 play points, act this card, put it into your graveyard, and draw 2 cards. So it's a 3 cost for 2 cards with an installment plan payment on those 3 play points. Not bad. And then something special under here. We got another legendary. Was this out of the same pack? This is, seems like a pretty good pack here. This is Ancient Elf Evolved. So Ancient Elf is 2 for a 2/2, and she evolves for 1 into this evolution form here. But the basic form also says fanfare. Return another card in play to your hand to give this +1/+1. And then when it is evolved, oh, it actually has ward in both forms. And then when it's evolved, return another card in play to hand to get +1/+1 again. So she could theoretically be up to 5/5 by now. Also letting you return things to your hand so that you can play them again and combo. So that seems pretty good. Another really nice looking card. I love the fairies that she's kind of playing with off on the side there. And then rounded out with actually a fairy token. So it doesn't make fairy tokens or interact with them directly, but Forest Craft token in the following up the Ancient Elf Evolved. I don't know if we can beat that pack, but we still do have a few left to go. This is Razory Claw spell. Quick, deal 2 damage to your leader, choose an enemy leader or follower, and deal 3 damage to it. I think we had that in the starter. Definitely had her, Angelic Sword Maiden with Ward. The Archer says evolve 1. Whenever another allied follower comes into play, choose an enemy follower and deal 1 damage to it. We have a very strong engine card, and her evolved form is going to be a 1/4 as well. This is whenever another allied follower comes into play, choose up to 2 enemy followers and deal 1 damage each to them. Ooh, another legendary mixed in. And these are where the dogs come from. So let's see how to make this spell token. She is called Cerberus. 4 for a 3/3. Evolve 2. Fanfare, put a Mimi or Coco into your EX area. Necro Charge 10, put 1 of each instead. Necro Charge 10 meaning if you have 10 cards or more in your graveyard. Mimis are 0 play point Nightmare Demon World spells with choose an enemy follower, deal 2 damage to it. That one is this here. And the other one, I don't think I have one of those yet, but they're also spells that choose an allied follower and give it +2 attack. So you get 2 spells into your EX area. Again, I still don't know EX area, how that works, but I assume we'll be able to play spells from it. And then her evolved form, if you do pay 2 to evolve her, you will get a Mimi and a Coco into your EX area for doing so. and she changes from 3/3 up to 5/5. That's 3 or 4 legendaries so far. Next up is Shrine Knight Maiden. She just has Ward and Aura. Again, Ward, I don't know what that is yet. Gold rare with a really nice foiling. I love the effects on this one. The strands and the stars. And this is the Chorus of Prayer spell. Choose up to 3 amulets that cost 5 or less from your graveyard and summon them for 7. Definitely seems like a fun card. And we saw the Archer just a minute ago. This is the Evolved Archer. And a token. And this actually is the one I didn't have, so we've got both tokens now. Mimi and Coco. 3 packs to go here. I'm pretty satisfied with where we're at. Yeah, like I said, we got 4 legendaries, one of which is the super legendary guy that looks like Merlin, but actually isn't Merlin for some reason. This is the Goblin that we saw in a couple of these starter decks. Evolves for 4 into a 4/4. Fairy Whisperer. Fanfare, summon a fairy, put a fairy into your EX area. 2 for a 1/1. The Elf Metallurgist. Fanfare, choose an enemy follower, deal 1 damage to it. Combo 3, deal 3 damage instead. So if you've played 3 or more cards this turn, you get to do the 3 damage instead of 1. Price of Magic. Stack Amulet. Fanfare, choose an enemy follower with 4 or less defense and banish it. So that is very interesting. It's a 3-cost amulet that basically just has a spell effect, but it has stacks, so you can combo it with other amulets potentially. Shenlong is a 5-cost 4/5, evolve 2, ward, fanfare, draw 2 cards, and discard a card. I like that already. And its evolved Shenlong form is a 5/6 with ward, and when it evolves, gain 5 to your leader's defense. I love the draw 2, discard 1. Got a gold rare. That is Robin Hood. 5 for a 4/5. Fanfare, choose an enemy follower, deal 4 damage to it. During your main phase, pay 1 play point and act this card. Choose an enemy follower and deal 4 damage to it. So she is shooting some heavy arrow action. We have the Healing Angel Evolved, whom we saw earlier, the basic version of that. And then a spell token. I don't think I've seen this one yet. This is Thornburst. It's a spell token. I haven't seen where this comes from, but it says choose an enemy leader or enemy follower, deal 3 damage to it, and draw this card. I definitely like that. I'd love to see where this spell token comes from. The penultimate pack. Let's see what we've got. This is Forge Weaponry spell. Quick spell. Choose an allied follower, give it +1/+1, and draw a card. Mist Dragon has Intimidate, so it's another ability that I don't know the meaning of yet, but it's 4/4/4 Intimidate. The quick spell Angelic Snipe. I think we saw this on the precons. Quick, choose an enemy follower and deal 2 to it. Another legendary, and this is the basic version of our elf here. So we got another evolution chain completed for the Ancient Elf. So again, I don't know how many legendaries we're supposed to get. This is number 5 out of 15 packs so far, so 1 in 3 packs. Except for we actually got 2 of them out of 1 pack. The Swordsman here says Fanfare, choose an enemy follower, act it. During your main phase, act this card. Choose an enemy follower and act it. Very useful effect there. Aggressive, 1 for a 2/1. Get rid of blockers, seems like. And a neutral gold rare. Really nice colors on that foil. This is Erd. She has Evolve 1. Fanfare, choose an enemy follower, put it into the EX area. Seems like a powerful effect. It must be if she's 4 for a 2/2. Her evolved form is going to be at 3/3 after you pay 1 to evolve. And says if after you evolve, choose a card in your opponent's EX area and banish it. So again, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to play stuff from the EX area. That's definitely the gist I'm getting. But she has the ability to send something to the EX area, and before your opponent can banish or can summon it again, potentially you can evolve her and banish it. Then we've got another legendary, number 6. This is a 7/3. So actually, this looks like that's going to be the evolved form here of our 5/1 evolves up into this 7/3. And again, she's going to have Aura, which I don't know what that is. I'm happy to have the pairing. And then a token, a 1/2 with Ward. This is Otohime's Bodyguard. Final pack. Let's go. Even if this pack is empty, I think I'm going to be okay. I mean, I don't want an empty pack, but let's take a look. Runecraft spell, Fiery Embrace. Quick, choose an enemy follower, destroy it. Spell chain 10, deal 3 damage to that enemy's leader. So core effect here is just to destroy an enemy follower, but if you've got 10 spells in your graveyard, you can also hit your opponent for 3. Fire Lizard says Fanfare, choose an enemy leader or follower and deal 1 damage to it. Dragoncraft spell Dragon Emissary says look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Dragoncraft card that costs 5 or more and add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. So go digging for expensive cards. Demonic Strike is a neutral spell. Choose an enemy leader or follower, deal 3 damage to it. Pompous Princess. Fanfare, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may put a follower that costs 1 play point from among them into play. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So she actually digs for a free 1-cost card. We have the gold rare Dragoncraft card, Ayla Dragon Knight. She has direct attack, and last words gain an empty play point orb. So 3 for a 3/2. Very aggressive card here. And then the Havencraft Evolution Manu Evolved, who just says Aura. So the basic form Manu is 2 for a 2/2 with Evolve 1 and Aura. So it just becomes 2/2 up to 3/3 for 1 and keeps that mysterious Aura ability. And then finally a 1/1 Fairy. I guess the one I saw before was actually a Fairy Wisp. That rounds out the deck. I think I got the evolutions of most, except for this last card I opened. I did not get the evolve form of Manu. Most of the other ones I feel like I did. I definitely have to do a check. And here is a look at all the foils I got. And you can see the legendaries at the bottom, including this super legendary guy. Definitely have to find out what some of these abilities are. I'm looking forward to trying out the game. The cards seem really cool. I like the powerful synergies that are really built into the game. You can definitely see how you're going to build a Forestcraft combo deck. There's a lot of spell action in the Runecraft starter deck. I can see how some of the changes can upgrade that. Some cool relic play with both Havencraft and Runecraft, and some other fun cards for the other crafts as well. Anyway, let me know what you think of the box in the comments below, or what kind of Shadowverse Evolve content you would like to see. Probably be doing at least some playthrough videos of the starter decks. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.